Hey, welcome back to the Indie Devlog. So this is a channel where I'm sharing my journey with learning how to code and make games. I'm an absolute noob at this. I'm making some rookie moves along the way and sharing them all on YouTube. So come and watch me try. And this is just a small thing, but it makes a massive difference for me if you just go ahead and whack that like button. And if you want to see more of my progress in game development, hit subscribe too. Okay, so let's get into an update on my pixely piratey game. I started today off with bringing my pirate attack animation into Unity and setting up the animator. And what I've been coding now is a way to calculate the position and the distance from the player. I need to make sure that I'm always calculating the distance as a positive number. I had to Google how to do that, but this maths F absolute, I think that this means, this returns the value as positive. So that's a handy trick to know. Yeah, so it's basically triggering the animation as I get close. So you see down here the is moving. And there we go. He's following. But he's also, yeah, I'll just push him away. Come on. I'm gonna run out of stamina. Okay, if I get far enough away, he'll stop. I'm not sure if he's already chasing you, if he should stop following at the same distance as he detected you. I'll have to figure that out later. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is figure out what direction he's facing and then have that trigger the two different movement animations for this pirate. So depending on which way he's moving, he needs to walk right. Because right now he's walking backwards and looks like a Muppet. Okay, so that's done. When they walk towards me, they're looking the right way. But you'll see though that now I've got this issue with them turning away when I push them. That's because I'm telling the animator to change anytime the pirate is moving on the x-axis. It should actually be only when I'm telling him to walk actively towards the player, but I'll tackle that problem tomorrow. So I've started the day off with sorting out how I trigger the pirate's walk animation. It's now when he actively walks towards the player, rather than whenever he moves on the x-axis. So you'll see now that when I push him, he doesn't walk. Next, I've started to work on adding the pirate's primary attack. So I've been adding it into the animator and trying to write some code for it. There have been a few failed attempts. Holy crap, what just happened? Okay, so I've added some basic force to the attack now. So if the pirate collides with the player and is primary attacking, it will add a force to the player, pushing him away. And this is the result. So I'm going to call that a day. Tomorrow I'm going to work on a health and damage system so these attacks can actually have an effect. Alright, it's nearly time for work. I've been up since 5 AM. I started out by downloading some free assets from the asset store because I just wanted to get something up and functioning quickly, and I'll work on how I want the UI to look later on in development. With a bit of Googling, I got it working. And now it's time for me to go to work. So I'll see you later. I didn't actually do any more work on my own project, just a bit more of my Unity course. I'm going to set a really early alarm for tomorrow and try and top myself, so how about 4:20? See you then. So here's the state of the game right now. As you can see, the pirate's attacks are knocking me back and inflicting some damage, so that's great. But you'll also notice that I'm taking damage as soon as the pirate starts his attack animation, even though his sword hasn't actually swung down on me yet. The problem is that I'm just checking for his box collider, which is around his whole body, not just his sword. What I want to do now is create a new collider that animates along with the sword, and then check for that collider. But I have no idea how to do this, so it's time to googly goo. Okay, so it doesn't look like I can reference a specific box collider in my script, so what I think I'm going to do is create a child object attached to the pirate and have a box collider on there. So now I'm going to animate the collider so it pops out and collides at the same time as the sword slams down in that attack. Okay, so I have made it now that this pirate has a sword collider, or a sword trigger collider. So you can see now that it's the sword trigger collider that triggers the attack. So even if I push into him like this, it's not going to hurt me until the sword actually swings around. There. But I've discovered a new problem now, and that's with prefabs. If I've got just one pirate prefab in there, that's fine. He's going to hit, I'll take damage, all good. But if I add in a second prefab, let's try this one, he's not doing anything. What about this guy? And he is. And I think what the problem is with the way I'm referring to the pirate character in my script. I'm searching for an object with the tag, and it's not specifically referencing the instance of the prefab that I'm colliding with. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So this one might be hitting me, but it's looking for the sword trigger collider on this one. So it's not registering as a hit over here. So I think this is the code here that needs work. So I've done a lot of trial and error here. I think I figured it out. Because it's a prefab, I need to get the object right here where the collision is happening. Otherwise it was talking to the wrong object. So I've been learning about this collision other business, but it kept telling me that there is no instance of the game object, and I realized after a long time that the sword trigger collider was on a child object, and I was pointing to the script which was attached to the parent. So instead of get component, I've had to make it get component in parent, and that appears to have fixed it. So now he's doing damage, so that's great. I might just add a pirate in and make sure that he'll also get me. Yep, I'm dead as. All right, and with that, I'm gonna call it a day. I have a day off work today, so I've slept in and been for a walk with the family. Now I'm going to do a few hours on my game. I'm gonna try and get this parry working today, so I'll start by making the animation and getting that going in the animator. So how I'm triggering this parry is I'm checking for input here and triggering a custom function, which I've creatively named Parry. And this is the parry function here. All it's doing at the moment is setting this parry ball to true. And it's setting my animator parry trigger to true. So here you can see in my animator that I can go from any state into this parry state. And there's an exit time out of the parry state when the animation is finished. But at the moment the parry is completely useless because, as you can see, I'm still taking damage. So we need to sort that out. Okay, and here it is. So as you can see, he's taking damage if I'm not parrying, but if I time it, then he's not taking damage. So now I think I'm going to add some feedback to it so that it will knock back the pirate if you parry successfully. And I think the parry should only be successful if you are facing in the right direction. So I've just finished up my last bit of code for the week. So now you have to be facing the pirate to successfully parry. So here we're calculating if you're facing the right way. Okay, so he's parrying and it works, but if I face away like an idiot and try to parry then, I take damage. Actually, I lie. I'm not taking damage, but it is stopping the knockback. Okay, so this wasn't my last bit of coding for the day. Okay, this is my last code for the day. So here I've made a new ball that checks for facing pirate, and now I'm checking that you are both parrying and facing the pirate, and then you'll have a successful parry. So let's see that in action. Cool. So that's it. Tomorrow I'll just be editing this video and then family time on Sunday. So that's me for the week. So let's have a quick look at next week. I'm going to leave this item here. I still need to make our attacks have an effect on the enemy. So I have to work on an enemy health bar. So I think that's going to be the priority for next week. And if I can, I'm going to start work on this dodge movement, and then I'm going to add an item here for enemy secondary attack. I really want there to be two types of attacks, one that you have to parry and one you have to dodge. And then we'll really have some gameplay. As always, thank you for watching my videos. Thanks for sticking with me here to the end. And before you go, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the little bell icon that comes up, because that way you'll get a notification when I post my next development video. And it really helps my channel out. I'll see you next week with another update. Bye for now.